Mighty.
All right, all right, all right. Good evening. Thank you for coming out to the BNR Truck Series as they go qualifying here tonight at Iowa. The wonderful short track built by, I do believe it was Rusty Wallace, I do believe, according. I'll let my annulus go ahead and handle all that. But first, I'll get my race information out the way because sometimes we tend to keep going on about the race history of Iowa. So anyway, you see here we are in Newton, Iowa. It's a 0.8 mile of a track. Track temp is 85 at the moment, so a lot cooler than what they were in at practice. They were at 121 degrees of track temp. So current weather outside for this race is 78 degrees, 71% humidity, partly cloudy, 13 mile per hour wind. 130 laps is 113.85 miles, rounded up to 114 miles. 80% fuel, 4 sets of tires, 1 quick fix, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. So now I'm going to let Will take it away, and he will give you the history of Iowa.
Yeah, it's history of Iowa here. So, like you talked about, it's 7/10 of a mile, if I'm not mistaken, or 7/8 of a mile. Excuse me. Math can be hard sometimes, Brian, as we already know. But anyway, yeah. So, kind of built by Rusty Wallace and his backers. Back in, I want to say they laid ground 2004, I think, possibly. Trying to see here, get the actual facts straight, But anywho, so yes, the first NASCAR Xfinity race that it's like to be called now was won by Brad Keselowski for Junior Motorsports. Kyle Busch finished second in that. The Truck Series. I'm trying to find my dear oh dearie. Trying to find all my lovely stuff here that normally helps me out. ARCA Series has raced here. Trucks, as we know. IndyCar, as we know, IndyCar started running a doubleheader schedule here, so yes, lovely Wikipedia. So it broke ground, yes, 2005, 18 years ago. Opened in 2006. Rusty Wallace is credited with the architect of the Speedway. IndyCar has been racing here since 2007, on and off. They took a break during the COVID years, as well as NASCAR. ARCA has been racing here since 2006. Trying to find the Truck Series. There we go. Craftsman Truck Series came here the same year with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 2009. Not Chase Briscoe, Ryan Briscoe, the Australian, holds the race lap record in the IndyCar Series with 17.4 seconds. And there's also a road course here at Iowa that the Green Dam Rolex Sports Car Series used here, Brian.
That's interesting news. I didn't know that.
Yes, indeed. The Daytona prototypes and the Grand Sport touring cars raced here.
Nice.
Lap records. So here we go. Oh, that's Mazda, Toyota Tundra. So Chandler Smith holds the Truck Series lap record here with a 23.7. Elliott Sadler holds the Xfinity Series record with a 23.9.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. So, like we talked about, pretty much almost every racing series in North America, or at least in America, has raced here. Everywhere from the Indy lights and so forth with those, and like we talked about, the Green Dam Rolex Sports Car Series. Um, the Cup cars will be here later this year in the real world, Brian. So that's good to see. The Cup Series
Oh
finally
yeah,
has a date for Iowa,
I'm happy.
and I
I'm
think
very
you have our
excited.
starting grid.
Yes, sir. So starting P1 would be Jaden Sanchez, P2 would be Ron Hunter, P3 would be Brandon Moore, P4 would be Matthew Hunsaker, P5 would be Troy Daggett, P6 would be Jason Pearson, P7 would be Mark Barry, P8 would be JD, P9 would be Dave Barry, P10 would be Ernest King, P11 would be Chris Camary, P12 would be Daniel Lyle, P13 would be Tyler Myers, P14 would be Chris Campbell, P15 would be Dion Johnson, P16 would be Joe Stipe, P17 would be Brian Schwartz, P18 would be David Fashholtz, P19 would be Pete Woodrum, P20 would be Paul Lawson, P21 would be Justin Steves, and P22 would be Robert Amaral.
So this track has progressive banking. In the turns is 12 to 14 degrees of banking. Down on the bottom, there's 12, and as you gradually go up the track, it progresses to 14. The front stretch is 10 degrees of banking. The back stretch is 4 degrees of banking. So you always feel like you're slightly always elevated here. You're never flat, Brian. Rusty Wallace wanted to get a feel basically for Richmond. He wanted to build a track and basically make it similar to Richmond or almost Bristol, but a bit more D-shaped, and that's kind of what you have here. It is a bit of a Milwaukee-esque Richmond, but more so just Richmond. So it's the place that Rusty built instead of saying the place that the captain or the place that Roger built. So Rusty wanted to kind of make his own track and see where that would go, and I think it turned out pretty quite nice. I think it's a nice track. It's not quite a mile, and I think it provides all the racing. Anytime any series has showed up to it, it's always provided great racing. Whether it be like we talked about any of the open wheel stuff that has been here with the IndyCar schedule, or even ARCA races has been pretty good from here. Almost every truck or Xfinity Series race has been absolutely good. I can't really think of a bad one. A notable finish is the whenever Carl Edwards hit the back of Ricky Stenhouse here. That one year, that's probably the most notable finish that anybody might remember.
But anyway, well, the pace car is about to pull up. So these drivers
Yes,
will
indeed.
be taking the green right now. The green flag is out. So they get ready to go into turns.
1 and 2 for the first time of asking, and the pole sitter Jaden Sanchez leading them away here. Brandon Moore trying to take away that second position from Hunter there in the number 30. You can see just about any lane on this track can be used. As we talked about it having the progressive style banking that you can see at a track like Kansas, Homestead, or Las Vegas has the same progressive banking, but just a little bit more steeper. Provides, like we talked about, some really interesting racing. Daggett has taken his 99 machine all the way up to second place, the number 30 of Hunter. Oh, we got a big parking lot here, Brian.
Yes, we do.
Going into turns 1 and 2, looks like there was contact made. Dave Barry, and can't tell the colors of the number. Oh, that's Chris Camary. Looks like they just had a coming together there. David I think Chris was expecting to maybe drive deeper into the corner and just got into Dave, perhaps, or we're going to see here. But that's kind of what it might have looked like in real time. Maybe I think Dave had a bit of a twitch, but he held on to it pretty good. But just him having to check up there for, I believe that was brother Mark ahead of him.
Yes.
So early goings, everybody's trying to just give and take here. Early goings and unfortunate.
Hard lick for Jaden.
Now these truckers do have a fast repair, right, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yep. These truckers do have one fast repair, unlike the BNR Cup Series. All right, right? You guys don't have fast repairs in the Cup Series, right?
Correct. So both of our Cup Series do not have any.
Right. So, you gotta excuse me, Brian. Sometimes, calling so many races, you forget who has fast repairs, who does not. So, always great for reminding,
Yep. So just our trucks are the only ones with fast repairs. So
those drivers will be able to come in and, for the most part, if it's just a little bit of damage, they should be able to fix that over time. But hopefully save that fast repair. But if it's severe, like we just saw a couple of those trucks, that's going to use that fast repair early on. No sense of really dragging nobody up here to talk to anyone because we didn't really get any laps in to see what anybody had. But we could always drag Jaden up. He won the pole, so always nice to talk to the pole sitter, Brian. I think we might have enough time to chit-chat with Jaden.
Yeah.
Maybe? Yeah. Lights are still on the pace car, so we got plenty of time to talk to the pole sitter.
Jaden.
Hi.
Hey, so you qualified on the pole. We just wanted to get a quick word from you, about setting that pole lap and, the mindset coming into Iowa, Jaden.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I didn't really think I was going to be P1 at the start of this. Iowa's not one of my great tracks, but, I mean, yeah, we'll see what we can do here. I doubt that I'll stay in front long, but we'll see what happens. Anything can happen, so. I mean, right now my goal is just to try to stay up in front as long as possible and just save some tire, and hopefully, all the guys behind me get wrecked out or something.
Well, best of luck to you, Jaden. Hopefully you keep out front like you plan on doing, and, hopefully we can talk to you soon.
Thanks.
So lights are out on the pace car, Brian. They're doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag action here. Daggett is out to the outside now of Jaden. As we know, he is always a strong, fierce competitor. Pretty quick just about everywhere he goes. Like we talked about towards the end of last season, he was going to be a newcomer to basically come up into the BNR Truck Series and be very competitive in this season. So Ernest King back there in the 24. Green flag back out in the air, Brian. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So Jaden gets a good haul from the start there. Looks to get in front of the 99 of Daggett. But Daggett is hanging strong on the outside well, not letting that 38 machine run away. As we look a little bit back here. Very tight.
I think Brandon might have pitted.
He did.
Okay, so we have a handful of trucks that did stay out under this caution, and a good majority pitted.
Unfortunately, Dave Berry had a little coming together there. You see Brandon Moore in the middle, 3 wide, 15 underneath of him. Of Chris.
Joe Stipe.
On the outside there.
Now you can go 3 wide here. It is plenty wide, but you also, getting into these corners, you funnel up just like you do at Richmond, like we talked about. It's very similar. Got a lot of characteristics like Richmond. You can somewhat drive them similar, but this track just a wee bit kind of probably just a wee bit faster than Richmond, but um, it still drives a whole lot like it for the most part.
Oh yeah.
You just got to be careful. Give those competitors room around you, like you would want that, to be as well.
You see Dave Barry getting ever so closely back up towards Joe Stipe there in that 13 Haas machine there. As Chris
Look at the run
Camary,
Chris Camary had through 3 and 4.
side
You
by
both were
side
thinking
with
about
Brandon.
the same thing.
Side by side with Brandon was. Now Camary gets on by. Brandon's like, you want it? Go ahead and take it. That is fine. Have at it. I'll run you down in the next couple of laps. So I'm not so worried about it.
Yeah, Brandon's real big on tire saving, tire deg. I would say he's one of the best about conserving the tires and trying to have a long run capable car or truck, depending on the series.
Oh yeah.
Agate still on the back tailgate of Sanchez. He's not letting go since the drop of the green flag on the restart, Brian. So, but Ernest
Had a
King,
little scrapage to that wall there. It's going to let Ernest King come to the inside of that 99 machine, but Troy gets that runoff wheel to where Ernie can capitalize on taking that P2 away.
yeah, just like we've talked about before in the past, on that outside, the higher you up on the track, you're able to get back to the throttle, or you're able to keep playing with the throttle to propel yourself with that momentum, that rhythm that you need here at Iowa. And you can really, wrap yourself pretty good around the outside lane. I remember, the outside was where you wanted to be for years here. That bottom lane, yeah, you could make up a good bit of time, but that outside was where you wanted to be, right, Brian? So Troy and Ernie really, Ernie's kind of, he's tempted to be up there, but he's not committed as much as Troy is. Troy almost got snuffed in the wall there by himself and just timing and everything, Brian? So like we've talked about, timing is key. Don't want to mistime a move.
Oh, because when you mistime a move, sometimes that could be bad. Absolutely, that could be bad if you misjudge or anything really, to be honest with you.
But a good 3-truck breakaway up here, a good 3-truck battle pack for the top spot. Troy really putting it to Jaden, making Jaden have to work for this, mind you. So
I was going to try to make him use up some of them tires, but not too much, but a lot of them. So then he knows that he can capitalize when he needs to. So.
a little bit further back, we have Jason Pearson. He's sitting pretty in 4th place right now in that 82 truck. Mark Berry, brother of David, sitting in 5th. And Tyler Myers is right behind him, but Myers is having company from Matthew Hunsaker, so a bit of battle back for 6th and 7th, excuse me. So, or 5th, 6th, and 7th, as they're trying to run down Jason. So, battle groups all over the place here at Iowa this evening, Brian. A little bit further back, you have Lyle, Swartz, Johnson. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th. And 11th, look at that. So, like we talked about from the drop of the green flag, you could just see how racy this track can provide some good racing.
Oh yeah. You see Dion trying to make the pass on Mr. Swartz there. But trying to still give as much room to Brian as he can. But also trying to run his line too as well.
Dion really able to diamond the corner on that bottom lane in turns 3 and 4. He was able to really pivot it when he needed to. But like you talked about, Swartz is just doing the same thing that Troy Daggett is, just able to just wrap his truck on that basically almost high lane. He kind of flirting, almost in the wall, if not did just a light kiss if he did get into it. I'll see here.
I say Dion now is going to take that position
I don't think he did.
away from Brian, as Brian was running the outside lane. A little rough up there, stalled him out a little bit. Now Dion is going to try to make the pass to take 8th place away from Lyle.
Yeah, I think what you talked about there, he both just got stalled out and also caught up to the back of Lyle. Lyle's just riding there in that outside lane. He's not really going too much. He's not going too far to the front at the moment, so kind of stalling out any momentum that kind of comes up behind him. Driver's trying to look for a way around as best way as possible. As the faster person, sometimes that is your responsibility to look for a way by, not necessarily expect someone slower to just give it to you exactly, Brian. So
Yeah.
that is the art of racing.
You see here Brandon Moore back here.
Oh,
Yeah, that was almost rough, but
yeah, a little bit further back, just outside the top 10, you're talking about Brandon Moore. He's looking at this, don't want to call it an eye of a storm, but a storm that may be brewing as they're just getting, just squabbling over the same real estate here.
oh yeah.
Nothing still has changed really at the front except for Hunsaker and Myers. They're squabbling for 6th and 7th still. I put more emphasis on 7th place for some reason there, but it's okay. Daggett slowly losing ground on Sanchez. Sanchez has found some type of extra oomph to extend that gap. And Ernie has fallen off from Daggett ever so slightly, Brian. As all of this, just a big melee back here, really. A big skirmish for, what is this, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. You see Woodrum, Pete Woodrum, he has gotten past Lyle, and he's trying to run away now. But he's still part of this skirmish.
A lot of good battles all along the track. Well, like I said, Iowa can bring out the best, too. As long as you're patient and can make your moves, Iowa will bring out the best in drivers.
Oh, something has gone awry for the J.D. O'Brien machine. He is not in the race at the moment. He's currently in the pits, Brian, so hate to see it.
Yeah, he got caught in that earlier wreck. I wonder if he's fixing it all instead of using that fast repair.
Good possibility, good possibility.
But you know me, I would have used the fast repair and just hung out in the back for a little bit. So
Exactly. That's probably what I would have had to have done too. Just use that fast repair. We got trouble. Contact being made. Chris Campbell, I believe that's Campbell, getting sent sideways. Not sure who was that.
special.
That's the one. Man. Fashholtz was trying to say down on the bottom groove out of the way, but entering turn 3, truck just walks up the track and into Campbell he goes. Not sure if asphalt's just having a problem this evening, or looks like they're racing pretty good back here. Yeah, they were, Brian. So
I'm going the wrong way.
yeah, you went pretty far back, didn't you?
I did. That's right. We'll come back here.
Oh, looks like he gets loose a little bit coming out of
Oh,
turn 2.
now I went too
Yeah,
far, huh? Oh, there we go.
he got he got loose coming out of turn 2, Brian, and he kind of got caught out from that, and that's why he was way down here. So he was just trying to gather it up ever since he got loose. So he had it straight, but he just bad angle approaching turn 3. You know just as well as I do. Whenever you hit your marks wrong, or even in the wrong lane entering a turn, especially at a short track, you are just going to bleed up the track. There's no way about it. And unfortunate circumstances that just Campbell just happened to be there. Wrong place, wrong timing. Unfortunate. As everybody's going to come down pit road here.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Everybody.
we did get told that the fuel mileage this evening was anywhere between 67 to 72 laps on a full tank. Maybe more, but probably not. So that 67 to 72 is our fuel window tonight for this 130 lap event here at Iowa. So second caution of asking, little short runs that we're getting. So haven't got into that, like we talked about, that fuel window territory. Maybe we will. It's always great to see green flag, pit stops anytime you can.
Oh, yeah.
Ernie.
Maybe we'll get one more. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, let's grab a hold of Matt if we got time. Lights are still on the pace car. Let's grab Hunsaker.
Hunsaker.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you were battling up, getting towards the top 5. Now you're inside the top 5 with this pit stop here. Plans to stay, here for the rest of the evening if you can, Matt?
I think I got a shot. I was holding back a little bit there, and I passed one, maybe passing 2 cars at that yellow, and I felt good. I like it. Hopefully,
yeah,
I got
you were really
Brandon Moore.
Yeah, you were really putting some moves on Tyler Myers and getting up there to Mark Berry. So, like you talked about, you were passing some trucks there. So we know that you're pretty decent at short tracks. This is pretty much a short track. So, like you talked about, you really feel like you got something tonight, huh?
I think so. If I can keep saving my stuff, I think the key is saving some tire for the end of the run.
So just saving that tire, and that's pretty critical here tonight, huh?
Oh yeah, I think everybody's doing it for sure.
All right, Matt. Well, best of luck to you going forward. Go get them, bud.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. We need to get him more enthused, Brian. We need to like light some fire underneath him or something to make him sound more enthusiastic.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Matt's always like that, especially whenever he's focused. I would assume, I guess. See here, Sanchez, Daggett, Hunsaker, King, Pearson, Berry, Myers, Johnson, Kamari, and Woodrum is your top 10, Will.
Yep. Seeing a few different faces, a mixture of the top 10 here, in and about. So thanks to the pit stop here that we just had under the caution. So some cycling in and out. Green flag back out in the air here. see if Troy...
Oh, no.
Oh, Troy had a moment. Ernie has a bigger moment coming out of turn 2. He has been in the top 5 all night long. No caution, Brian, for the single truck spin of Ernie. He was down off the racing surface. Hopefully I'm not super loud like I was last night.
You're right.
So, all right. Oh, no, I was just saying. Do what?
I said I prefer you to be loud.
Yeah, I prefer to. People would like that. You know, people need to hear.
Oh, you see that? Daggett
So-
gets by Sanchez now. So, we'll see how
All about
Jaden's
that.
truck handles with that dirty air. And see if he has anything
Jaden-
for Daggett.
I think Jaden needs to move up a lane at least. He needs to venture up to that. He needs to just follow Troy, I believe. And if he could follow Troy, he could maybe build up some speed in that 38 machine instead of just being a bottom feeder like he has been this entire 42 laps of asking pretty much, Brian. So I think if he could just learn a little bit from Troy, maybe he could find just a wee bit more speed and take that battle to him. As you can see, some of the trucks that were either outside the top 10 or just inside the top 10 going at it, battling here. Brandon Moore getting past the Ford truck of Lyle. Lyle might have brushed the wall coming out of turn 2. And then Lyle's fighting back as Fashholz is right just outside the top 10. And 11th place, I do believe. So, and look at that. Jaden has fought back door to door with Daggett. Oh, be careful there. Contact, trying to avoid contact being made.
That was close. That was very close.
Matthew Hunsaker watches on from third place, just a second back. Mark Berry setting still comfortably inside the top 5 in 4th position, and Jason Pearson rounds out the top 5 as Dion Johnson, our resident Australian, setting in 6th position in that 78 truck. So at the moment, a strong top 10 run for Dion. He, I want to say, had a 6th place finish in the Cup Series on Saturday.
I want to say so too.
Onboard shot as he chases down the 82 of Pearson. And he kind of starts, I hope the audio, okay, the audio is a bit askew from the video, but that's okay. I was going to say he almost starts lifting before the start-finish line, but it's okay. Not everything can be perfect in the digital world, Brian.
That is true. Nothing can ever be.
Oh.
As much as we want to.
We have a lot of catfish here tonight, a lot of bottom feeders, Brian. Very few are wanting to venture up and give that middle to high side a try. Like, we do have a couple, mind you. We do have a few, but they are far and few in between. Another 1.5 Studios truck. I think they're invading us. I think they're invading us, Brian.
I think so. How many more of those are we going to get? But that's all right. More people, the better.
Yes, indeed.
We don't
That
mind.
is our outside. Well, we don't at all. That is our outside pole sitter in the 30, Hunter. He's currently trying to get that one lap back the hard way that he kind of needs to be back on the lead lap. So he is in front of Brian Swartz, who is in the 94, who is the second competitor one lap down. He's Hunter in the 30. He's got great top 10 speed here, staying. If he was on the lead lap, he would be in what would be 9th position, 9th or 10th, ahead of Pete here. as Tyler Myers trying to get by Lyle again. Good strong run for Lyle after he's got some laps here at Iowa and trying to figure it out just like everybody else is. 53 laps in the books, so everybody should have a good feel for the track. Even though we've had 2 cautions, you should have a good feel by now for how the truck's going to fare. Even though we haven't had a good enough long run to get an understanding, but we're closing in on one. I have a good feeling.
So do I. I believe that they can make it happen.
Austin in the 42 is now our first truck 1 lap down, so he now takes that lucky dog position away from the number 30 of Hunter. So
Oh yeah. A lot of great racing, a lot of awesome side-by-side. But after a while, well, we start to see these trucks start to lose some grip as the race goes on. Because now iRacing implemented that multiple lane groove. So when one side of the track gets worn out, now you got to finesse a bit and find a different lane to run. So
exactly, and like we talked about, this track has plenty of lanes to run, about 4 lanes wide, Brian. So you have plenty of options here at Iowa. You can run the bottom, the top, the middle, the wall, maybe, depending on how much rubber is built up on that extra high lane. So got to be careful. You don't want to get too far up in the dirty lane or the marbles. So it's still a factor on iRacing just as much as it is in the real world. You see Lyle, he's really trying to put some rubber down up there. I think he's been one of the few besides Daggett who's really been venturing up there. Oh, is that a lead? But yes, so
Swap-a-roo.
Oh no, Lyle got into the left rear of Tyler Myers as Myers was trying to maybe cross him over, do some type of slide job. I had to look away, had to get something off my arm momentarily, but yes, Lyle coming into turn 3 and 4 here. Yep, just unfortunate walks up the track and into Myers. Just hard racing between the two. This was battling for, what was that, the 8th position?
Yes, sir.
So a top 10 spot, to say the least.
That was just hard racing. No one's fault. That's a racing incident, so
Oh, yes, indeed.
it happens.
Chalk that one up on the board as racing deal there. But you hate to see it like that. You know, good hard racing come down to something like that as Daggett's going to lead everybody back down pit road again. Like Matthew Hunsaker talked to us earlier, you know, this track can be a cheese grater on the tires at times, depending on how hard you will drive that truck into the corners. Maybe after they get through with the pit stops, we'll grab Jason Pearson by the collar.
Oh, Big Dog. That's
Yep.
his nickname.
I like talking to JP. He's cool.
I like JP. He's a
Yeah, he's a
character.
fantastic guy.
He should be good.
Oh, Brandon's gonna beat Jaden out of the pits. He's gonna gain a whole lot of spots. Brandon Moore picks up 4 positions, I do believe, on the round of pit stops, if not 6 positions on that round of pit stops.
So we'll go ahead and talk to JP. Mr. Big Dog, you got a copy.
Hey, Jason. really focusing right now, Brian.
Yeah, that's right. We'll go ahead and talk to him later.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. We tried. Oh, look at that. Oh, Justin's in the front. No, he ain't. He's coming down the pit with Brandon.
Yeah, I was going to say yes. Oh, Brandon's coming back down? Why?
He probably don't want nothing to do with up front yet.
Let's bring Brandon down. Let's grab him real quick and ask him why he's pitting again. Just out of be a curious bee, you know. Brandon,
What's up?
why are you pitting again? You came out of the pits in third, or second.
I just decided I wanted to go ahead and take tires.
Oh,
I'm
you didn't.
No, I was like fuel only. The tires are all right. I guess we're gonna go take freshies. I'm chilling.
Okay, man, you almost made a boo boo.
No, I didn't make a boo boo. I had 95% on the rights. I didn't have to pit. I was chilling.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Actually, 96, 97 rights. Yeah, I was chilling, dude.
What do you think of the racing so far? You've been around a good bit of it.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. I've just been trying to keep my nose clean, hang out a little bit, and then hopefully we can make a charge at the end here.
Well, yeah, you're kind of always one to watch. We've been keeping an eye on you, like I said, because you've been around a bit of the battles. So hopefully
I'm just seeing what the tires can take and see what the percentages are after a few runs, and try to keep the right front on it. I'm just playing around with it right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what Brian was saying earlier. So catch you later, Brandon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there we go. Heard from Brandon. He just wanted to, check out some things, do some strategy, and decided to bring it back down and get those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Daggett on the inside in that 99 machine. He's playing there with Jaden a little bit, saying hello, Rebig W. Look at my fender. So with Brandon pitting, this kind of helps out some of those other trucks there at the front. Oh, Campbell might have spun his tires there. A little bit further back on the inside lane, the 4th truck on the inside. Didn't quite launch, but that's okay. They're going now. So Mark Berry to the inside of the 38. Brandon Moore gave up the 38 to be the 3 this season. JP kind of blinking a little bit as, who was that diving to the inside? I think that was Chris Camary diving to the inside of Jaden. No, that was Mark. No, that was Jaden. I'm getting so flustered here at the moment, Brad. There goes Campbell after getting touched earlier. He's inside the top 10, Brian.
Yes, it is. Good run by Campbell at the moment. Not over yet.
No, we still have a good piece to go here. Is might have to pit another time for fuel, Brian.
I think they do.
If the math serves correct. So, and the way the cautions have been falling tonight, we should see at least maybe 2 more before the night's over with, just by how, they have been falling, how racy they have been being, contact being made every now and again.
That just comes with different lift points. And,
yes, you are correct there.
So,
and we have seen before in the past here at Iowa, it can be very tricky, in traffic, like you talked about, others having different lifting points than you. You may feel like, hey, I can drive it way down deeper into this corner than that other guy. I'm just gonna outdrive him. Well, sometimes, that depending on which lane you're in. If you're going to drive it in deep in the bottom, sometimes that truck's going to get tight and plow up the track on you. And we've seen that a couple of times tonight already, so.
Oh, man.
Oh, Mark Berry around in the wall.
So did Jaden.
So contact made up at the front. We're going to get a replay here as we were looking a little bit further back in action.
Oh, that ain't it. It could have been.
Oh. Oh, man. So we have two separate incidences, Brian. Something happened between Daggett, I believe that's Daggett and Jaden. So I think Daggett gets in the wall, perhaps. And, oh yes, he breaks loose, and corrects it into the wall. Jaden's committed, and he cuts down, and unfortunately, they just have a coming together. Oh, man. So the leader basically starts to wipe out, and second place catches up with it. Here comes third and fourth. I think Mark Berry is checking up, and Kamari gets alongside, and just a unfortunate set of circumstances, really, that plays out. A good possibility that maybe Kamari doesn't see what Mark does in front of him, and that could have been what all is transpiring, because maybe, Brian, you can't necessarily see too far ahead of you when you're going through a corner, entering a corner, and especially if you have another truck in front of you that you're more focused on. You're not focused on, say, the leaders that are a second and a half ahead of you.
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily know if they're crashing unless, I guess they did make an audio update in iRacing recently to where your spotter will tell you that there's a crash occurring on the track, but you know what I mean, Brian. Sometimes you're more focused on that competitor in front of you, and when that person just kind of checks up or kind of suddenly you're not expecting, and you get alongside, or just contact will be made. You can't really prevent it, and just unfortunate. No doubt about it. So
like I
at
said,
the
those
moment,
two were
Chris
just
Kamari,
fighting for position up front, and sometimes you get a little loose coming off that turn. Now with it being under the lights, track is probably way cooler than what it was before, so now all the grip is starting to go away, so you're not having a lot of grip that is left out on the track. So, but anyway, yes, Chris Kamari's up front now with Matthew P2 and JP P3.
Pete Woodrum in fourth, and Dion Johnson rounds out the top five in fifth position. So Ernie getting back up. This caution probably helped Ernie, because
yeah, I would say got him back up there
because
after losing the truck onto those fresh good 4 good years, and cold tires. We know cold tires, cold track ain't gonna kind of mix too well. So
wasn't the temperature like the track temp during practice was like 120 or something like that? What's the track temp now?
79.
So that's a drastic change from practice, qualifying, to now. So yes, indeed. So how you were able to drive coming off of turn 4, either in practice, even in the beginning of the race, is going to change, to how you're able to drive out of the corner now. So whatever that HPA stands for, that is a lot of numbers.
That's a lot.
And they have a 10-mile-per-hour wind here this evening as well. So I always say anything above, 7 or 8 mile per hour wind gust, normally 6 or below, maybe 5 or below ain't too bad. But, 8 or 10 mile per hour winds, really can play a lot into the centering of these trucks, entering the corner, even exiting. Can gain you a little bit of speed, maybe going down the back straightaway can give you drag. It just depends on how the wind's blowing.
So Chris Camary with a great start.
These last couple of cautions have really been jumbling up the field, I would have to say, Brian, as far as different strategy goes and who's getting wiped out in the cautions. Oh, Myers, hang on to it, buddy. Getting really tail swaggly coming out of turn 4. And he was able to hang on to it. Don't know how he saved it, but excellent truck control for Tyler. So, everybody's still racy. Jockeying for positions here on this restart, Brian, as we see some trying to make their way back up through the field. Daggett and Sanchez, some of the 2 quickest trucks that we've had all night, the 2 dominant trucks that we've had all night. I don't know if the number 30 of Hunter got his lap back or not. I think he did. So everybody's back on the lead lap except for JD, who is 70-something laps down, unfortunate. But he got that truck repaired finally, Brian. Good to see him back out there. 72 laps down. But yes, indeed, green flag action here again. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. No, they're still green. Okay, still green. So,
They are.
just unfortunate for a few
Poor Campbell.
getting caught up in that. Yeah, Campbell again, man. He always seems to have a magnet on that truck. Robert Amaral, man, he is doing fantastic. Oh, great. Now he's going to be the next one to go spinning. Oh, my goodness.
Nah, he's doing all right. He's P8.
Yes. You know just as well as I do, Brian, he was never really a short track guy. But, man, once he got, it was even shortly before he made the switch to iRacing that he was really starting to get, the short tracks down packed, right? And I tell you, so much improvement on Robert. Love to see it.
So Dion up there, P4, being under pressure by the 5 of Pete Woodrum. And then ever so slightly behind him is Ernest King. So, and then creeping up a little bit behind them is Brandon Moore.
Yeah, Brandon with his wacky tire strategy that we heard about earlier. Just trying to learn, do some scientific laboratory research, and then go at them at the end or nearabouts. Just look at this. How many trucks is this up here? 7 trucks. All within a second and a quarter, basically. Brandon trying to find a way around Woodrum. So many W's in so many different sounding words that's not there. Wumbo.
I would say overall a great race though. A lot better than last week, that's for sure.
Well, I just think last week, we had a handful of drivers that was their first ever time racing at Myrtle Beach, unfortunately. And it really looked like it could have provided some really great racing. We had a handful of moments there that we just had some good racing, but unfortunately it was just a caution breeding caution fest, and sometimes you get that, and sometimes you don't. So it just depends, I think, how racy they can be week to week, track to track. As we see here, battle for the lead, Hunsaker taking it to Camary as Pearson, Hunsaker almost chopped off Pearson completely into the wall, but thought better of it, I guess. So, Camary really holding that Daggett line firm. I guess he got taught by Daggett how to drive Iowa. I'm just kidding, Chris. So
Camary's
Dion
teammates
really
are Daggett and Hunter.
Yep. Oh, 3 wide for a moment, Brian.
Yes, they were. That was Ernie King.
Ernest is another driver that we talked about having to come back from a misfortunate incident. He, like we talked about the previous caution, his truck just slipped away coming out of turn 2, but he's down that bottom side, and it seems like the top side is the lane to be at the moment. Everybody's just whipping by him. As there comes Daggett and Sanchez, even Hunter. So Hunter's back on the lead lap. That's our outside pole sitter for this evening. So we have a huge battle group here. This is the top 10, more or less, top 11 that is up here battling for all these positions. Oh, you can just really see how tight it can be entering these corners. It looks wide, sweeping corners, yes, but just the way that the racing lines can be, how the truck can move up the track on you, almost into the door or the lap of your competitor.
I see Brandon Moore applying pressure to the back of that 82.
As Hunsaker looks again for an opportunity to strike. There goes Brandon down the stairs. Will he have the momentum to get by Pearson and do something with the 6? It just looks like so much of that rhythm is built up in that outside lane. Pearson fighting back. Well, in about 5 laps to go, we could do a crank it up portion if you want. That'll be lap 100. We could do it for a few laps, hopefully, and then maybe speculate for a green flag pit stop here.
Only if this track has
Hunsaker. Oh, well, we can't do it ourselves and
Yeah, I can.
do our onboards and stuff. Come on, Brian, let's do it. Anyway, man, Hunsaker takes the lead away from Camary. Camary going to do a crossover here as Brandon Moore is like, come on, fellas, what are we doing? He is there in third. He's ahead of Daggett and Sanchez. There goes Brandon underneath Hunsaker. So he's going to be in second place unless Hunsaker can get that momentum back. He does. Tweaky, just a bit twitchy. Just great racing here tonight, Brian. Just absolute banger of a race, I'd have to say. Just all the racing we've been watching.
I agree with you. Brandon is hanging very strong with Camary and Hunsaker. While Daggett's applying pressure to the back of that 82 machine. Also bringing his teammate up there.
I mean, I don't know how anybody could
Oh
not be a
no!
fan. Well, I think we jinxed it whenever we said we were going to do a crank it up segment, Brian, as just calamity happens down the back straightaway going into 3 and 4, and that's all she wrote, dear John, for a lot of these competitors, because you got to remember some of these were swept away in earlier incidences and had to use a fast repair. Absolute hard nosed racing up here at the front. The whole top 12 was just covered by a second and a half, Brian, or just over a second and a half. And
You see, Matt gave Kamari a shot, just didn't
oh,
work.
that's what did it. Oh man, Matthew ultra aggressive coming out of turn number 2, giving, like you said, a shot to the back of the Camaro
Oh,
machine, but just, oh man. And there's not really enough time to react, Brian. You're trying to react, put your foot on the brake fast enough, but my goodness, you're going almost 150 miles per hour, if not over 150, right there on the back straightaway, Brian. So there's almost just no time to react to anything whenever you get kind of shunted sideways and everything. So
that shot right there, around he went.
that's about 145, maybe 140 miles per hour. Getting hit, coming off the corner there. You're throttling back up. And, of course, his truck's going to probably come up a half a lane. And Matthew was just trying to help him stay ahead, no doubt, probably. So, just unfortunate for a handful of these guys. Like we talked about, already used their fast repair, most of them. Like we said, either caught up in a previous incident earlier this evening or, yes, just caught up in something else, and now they can't really have that fast repair to fall back on. That's going to hurt, Brian.
That's gonna hurt big time, for sure.
So nobody should have to worry about running out of fuel or having to make a green flag scheduled pit stop, Brian, because as we talked about, if we was to see another caution, we should be good to go now, no doubt about it. If we remember our fuel mileage window of that 67 to 72 laps, so that throw that out the window now. It's all about how many sets of tires you have left in the pits, and do you think you have enough time to grab a set and make your way back up through the field? And say if we have another caution, how many laps would be left? Right now we got 27 laps to go. So if you was to pit again, do you have enough time to make your way back up through the field? That would be the golden question. Look at Justin Steves. He's inside the top 10 now, in 7th place. Did Robert get taken out in that crash, Brian?
From what I saw from the calculations over here, let's see.
I'd have to see a replay of it again to see who all got swept up in it.
Robert Amaral, Brian Schwartz, Dave Fashholtz, Dan Lyle, Paul Lawson, Campbell, JP Hunter, Kamari, Brandon Moore.
And Hunter was having a real good run, too, after being 2 laps down. Coming back from being 2 laps down, Brian, and being inside the top 10, battling to being inside the top 5. So, heartbreak, really. Nothing else to say but really heartbreak. The race is not over. So, they still... looks like we're going to have 25 laps to go when the pace car pulls in. So... it's going to be a dash to the finish. Are we going to stay green?
It's a good question. I don't know. I would like for it to.
I think we all would, Brian.
And the green flag is out. That's Matt. Get some help from the 24. That's Daggett on the outside. Barry on the outside too as well. You saw that little slip up from the 99 there as Mark Berry gonna look to the inside, but he gets a little tight there.
It's tight, walked it up a lane, but was still able at the moment to keep it in front of Ernie. Ernie looking low now on Mark. Oh, we've got 2 trucks 1 lap down at the moment. Trash Schultz is out of the race, and so is Jaden Sanchez. Swartz and Campbell are the 2 trucks 1 lap down, battling for that lucky dog if another caution was to fly here this evening. As you take a look back further back in the field, back here, David Berry, Jason Pearson. Is 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th, and Tyler catches it again.
I like
He's
that,
had good.
That paint scheme on that. Not bad. Looks pretty good.
And I would like to see a Cheetos sponsorship in the real world. I've seen a lot of Cheetos cars on iRacing, that's for sure. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse could do that since he's got that Kroger sponsorship, you know?
Oh yeah. That would probably look pretty good, but really just all depends really on if they want to bring that involved.
It seems like every week they're taking something out of the Kroger store, putting it on the car, you know?
Oh yeah.
These guys been racing all night so hard. But that's what we love to see.
Oh yeah. We don't like people to pull over. We want them to race. Put a show on and go from there.
Up at the front, though, Brian Daggett and Hunsaker are battling it out. Ernest King, Mark Berry, Dion Johnson still in the top 5. Daggett and Hunsaker, though, exchanging blows up here at the front. Daggett's down on the bottom. We haven't really seen Daggett do too much bottom feeding today. It's mainly been topside. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to clear Hunsaker to get up in that top lane, control that top lane. Hunsaker still all over the tailgate of the 99. Now under 20 laps to go. Riding on board now with Matthew Hunsaker. As you see, trying to peek, trying to look, get a glance. As he drives right alongside the driver's side of the 99, he's there. He's got the door wide open. But is Troy going to be able to? Yes, he does. Stick it on that outside and whip it right back around the 6 truck. You can really see the bumpiness, the characteristics of Iowa Speedway here on the onboard cam. You can see the work that the chassis of these trucks are doing. Laps to go, Brian.
Yep, 15 laps to go. Matt's trying everything to run back down the 99, but can't quite get there at the moment.
Well, we've seen it earlier tonight. Daggett gets in that clean air, and if he can get a good line down, he will just sail away. That's what he's doing at the moment. Exactly. Brandon back in the thick of things back here, trying to just get back inside the top 10. You take a look at the handy dandy points book. You know, Brandon Moore in the 3 truck, he's leading the points as it stands, but his closest competitor's not here tonight. That would be Jacob Carter. So Troy Daggett is 3rd. He's going to have a good points day to walk away from tonight if he's able to snag the win here. Don't know why Cameron Smith was not able to show, but he's in 4th. He's going to have a bad drop in the points because a lot of his rivals around him showed up tonight to race.
That's very true. Closing in on 10 laps to go.
Look at Joe Stipe. He's currently P5 in the points. Consistency, folks. That's all you really need. If you're able to avoid the melee, avoid all the crashes, stay out of the drama, and he's currently setting P8. If he can just knock away, you know, top 10s, top 5s, you can rack up a lot of points. It's very easy to do. Well, I say that, but it's also very hard to do. As we see, Matthew Hunsaker coming down to the pits. Wonder why Matt is having to pit.
Maybe not.
So that throws good possibility, Brian. He could have not taken enough fuel on the last pit stop. 10 laps remaining, 9 apologies, remaining in the race. So that kind of throws the podium on its head as far as who did we think was going to finish in the podium positions. Ernest King now takes over 2nd place, Mark Berry 3rd, Dion Johnson 4th, Jason Pearson back in his 5th position. That's about where he averages almost every race, I'd have to say. He really does. I tell you, Jason, he's really consistent. But Dave Berry is really threatening JP, I'd have to say. That battle between Joe Stipe and Brandon Moore is really extra hot too, I'd have to say. Brandon's trying to get around Joe.
Reconnecting. There you go. Back.
Okay.
Had a hiccup, that's for sure.
Yeah, we almost lost the closing laps here. Mark Berry putting it to Ernest King for 2nd place. So 2nd and 3rd really fighting here in the closing laps. 2 laps to go, Brian. And look at Dion. Dion's right there with him. Going to get the podium positions as Troy Daggett has run away with this race. 1 lap to go for Troy and the rest of his competitors. Oh, that didn't really slow him down though, Brian. He's still there in the back of Ernie. He's going to send it way downtown to try to get alongside of Ernest. He wants P3 very bad. Not going to get there though. Troy Daggett's going to come off of turn 4 and win here at Iowa in the BNR Truck Series as Mark Berry takes 2nd and Ernest King is able to seal 3rd place in the final step of the podium here tonight. Dion really gave it a valiant effort to get on that onto the podium, but just couldn't quite get there. He gets fourth, and Dave Barry comes back to get a top 5 finish after getting caught up in one of the early incidences of the night. Jason Pearson in the 82, Brandon Moore in 7th. Joe Stite, another top 10 run for Joe in 8th position. Justin Steves in 10th place. I did not get to see. Oh, here we go. Race results. Tyler Myers drives back to get a top 10. Pete Woodrum finishes in 11th. Daniel Lyle, that's his first name. There we go. Daniel in 12th position. Chris Camary, 13th. Ron Hunter in 14th. Robert Amaral in 15th. Paul Lawson in 16th. Christopher Campbell finishes 17th, 1 lap down, unfortunately. Brian Swartz, 18th, 1 lap down. And J.D. O'Brien finishes the race, I want to say in 20th, because we had Matthew and Jaden 19th and 18th, and David Faschholtz, can't forget about David. And then J.D. O'Brien rounds out the field. So, I'd like to thank each and every one of these competitors for coming out here tonight at Iowa, putting on a fantastic race, a fantastic show as well for this BNR Truck Series each and every Tuesday night, man. It just fantastic race. 5 cautions tonight at Iowa. Excellent race throughout the evening. It was filled with absolute just battles all throughout, Brian.
Oh yeah, very exciting race. I'm happy with it. Turned out very good. A lot of side by side, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of what ifs. So let's see if we can get a hold of our P3 here of Ernest.
Next week, right?
Huh?
And I said Texas is next week, right?
Next week will be, I think so. I think we did do Daytona. Yes, Texas. Texas. So we can go ahead and get Ernie.
There it is.
Hey,
There
Ernie.
it is.
What's up, boys?
Oh, just watching you guys race your guys' hearts out here tonight at Iowa, that's for sure.
That was a tough one. That was a doozy.
Just racing all throughout the pack, man. Like from the front, middle, back. You guys were racing everywhere, and your truck fired off pretty well from the start, and you pounced inside the top 5. And I would say about halfway through the race, I think it's the 3rd caution, you kind of let your truck get away from you there on one of the restarts. Tell us about it, Ernie.
You know, I kind of have a tendency to do that. If you look at the races so far this season, it's happened in every single race except for Daytona. So it happened last week, it happened this week, and I came back and finished top 5 in both races. So maybe I should do that every race and see how it goes for me. That's crazy. It makes it more hectic. I wish I wouldn't have did it. I was just pushing really hard to, keep my truck up front there. And when I got off the throttle and I didn't even touch the brake there, the front end just set and it just went around. That's what happened there.
Tell us about the closing laps, man, with you, Mark Berry, Matthew Huntsaker. We don't know why Matt pitted there, but you, Matt, Mark, and even Dion. Dion was giving you guys a run for your money. I thought he was going to get you there on the closing couple of laps.
Well, that last caution threw everything kind of crazy because I had enough fuel there to make it if it went green. I don't know. I was good by 3 laps. I mean, if we would have had a green-white checkered, I'd have been in bad shape, but if it would have been green, I was good by 3. But everybody pitted. You know, I was really good on the first half of the run, but once we got onto that long run, the nose really started shoving, and that's how them guys started running me down, and we were battling there towards the finish. And why he pitted, I don't know. That was actually kind of shocked because I wouldn't have finished third. You know what I mean? So it was kind of weird to see that. Maybe he was short on fuel. I don't know.
And that's what me and Brian were speculating. Next week is Texas. Not sure which configuration, but Texas. You know, that mile and a half over there in the Lone Star State. What's the mindset going into Texas? I know you've ran good there in the past before, so tell us about that.
I think that track owes me one. Last year, I had a pretty dominant track. I mean, a truck, and just another one slipped away. It owes me one. So, just everybody, just look out for me. Definitely next week, I'm going to be up there, and I'm getting there. I'm gonna get me a win. It'll be my first league race here win if I can get it. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely gunning for it this season. I'm on rails so far.
Yeah, you certainly are. Ernie, time will do tell, and I kind of have to agree with you because in the past, you've shown lots of great speed at Texas. So, any final thoughts, shout outs, anything else you'd like to add, Ernie, before we let you go celebrate this podium finish here tonight at Iowa?
Just you guys for putting on the show. Looked great. I was watching while I was doing it, and all that good stuff. All the drivers. What a fun race tonight. It was definitely better. I mean, we had a few cautions, but congrats to everybody, and it was a fun race, and we'll see y'all next week, and hopefully I can do 2 more spots better.
10-4, Ernie. Thanks for talking to us tonight,
Yes,
and
sir.
best of luck to you moving forward.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good night,
sir.
guys.
Good night. Next up, Mark Berry. Let's see, you can find old Mark. Where Mark? That's Berryman 09. I don't know who that is. Hold on. That might be Mark. Mark?
How's it going?
I thought that was him. Okay. Had me confused. I'm like, okay. Anyway, what a wild up and down night for you. Great race. Overall, a lot better than last week. That's what everybody's saying. So that's always a blessing for sure. You got caught up in an earlier wreck a little bit, the first few laps, and then later in the race, I guess you had to check up, and then your brother there kind of got shunted out of that ordeal, but that is all right. Congratulations, P2, the first thing. Why don't you go ahead and give us a thorough rundown of how your overall race went and what maybe you could have probably done a little different, and then just the racing in general.
Well, the racing was definitely a lot of fun out there. Yeah, I got kind of spun out there second to last caution and worked my way back up to the field from like 20th, and I got to 10th, and then we had that caution, so I was able to get another set of tires, and I think I restarted around 5th or 6th, and then I just kind of that last restart was just kind of let them kind of like I know they were going to race hard, so they're going to use up their tires. So I just was just trying to just kind of stay back and not use up my tires, and then I managed to get all the way up to second, and I just didn't have enough laps for Roy. So overall, good race. It was a lot of fun out there. So just looking forward to next week.
Yep. Next week, you guys head to Texas. What's going to be your mindset going into Texas and maybe capitalize a win?
I just really think just continue to just save the tires, don't overdrive it, have patience, and then hopefully by saving the tires, then everybody will come back to you and you get around. And I think saving the tires will be the key.
Absolutely, I agree with you because Texas could be a little rough on these trucks, especially with the new tire updates that they've done. So, looking forward to see what you have at Texas. I know you and brother you and brother Dave, sorry, are very strong. We've seen what you did last year. You guys are awesome guys out here, coming out here, putting up a fight with these guys. So, congratulations, P2. Any final thoughts, shout outs you want to give before we send you back up there?
Yeah, I was just kind of rushed start the first 2 weeks. Shout out to Mike. I know he's not here. Could be here this week, but it was definitely a lot of fun out there. Appreciate everybody giving patience and giving some room out there.
Yes, sir. Awesome job tonight once again. Will, do you have anything for Mark?
Mark, what was it like having to come from the back to the front, driving through the traffic here tonight?
Um, it wasn't too bad. Actually, it was just more of people would just overdrive the corner. So I would either cut it underneath them, or what I would do was just the high line was good for me. So I had a lot of confidence, going to the high line. So I could go a little bit deeper into the corner and then use my brake to set it and then get it back in the throttle a lot quicker than the people on the bottom.
And four. Well, thanks for talking to us tonight, Mark. Best of luck to you next week at Texas. Hope to see you there.
All right. Thank you, guys.
No problem. All right, well, last but not least, Troy. Let's see if I can get old Troy up here. Mr. Troy.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going with you, Troy?
Oh, I'm overjoyed right now with getting the win off my back finally.
Yep, finally. You won I want to say, what was it, 2 or 3 races in the closing races of last season. So, winning here again this season. Congratulations, by the way, here at Iowa this evening. And been running strong, I would have to say, the first couple of races to start off the season. Just wasn't able to get the job done last week, but this week you were. So, like I said, congratulations. Tell us about it, man. If I'm not mistaken, you qualified in the top 5, so you were kind of up there to begin with. But just you were running that high line to perfection tonight. You barely ran that bottom at all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I qualified up in top 5. The second lap, I messed up a little bit, got a little loose. That put me back in 5th. Took my first lap, but yeah, I would run the bottom the first couple of laps, try and get away from people. Then I would move up to the middle to top line throughout the run because there's just so much more momentum up there and everything, and where to pass, it's so hard. You have to either try and dive bomb in the corner and slide up, or if you're working the top line, you would have to get on someone's left rear, coming try to get out of the corner, get on the left rear so they wouldn't come up on you and get momentum going down the back straight like nothing.
Yeah, we saw that momentum that you were able to carry from the high side, down the front and back straightaways. Just tremendous speed, able to carry. Just you got loose that one time coming out of turn 4 shortly after a restart. You were leading Jaden there in second place, kind of got caught up with you. Just tell us about that real quick.
Well, I mean, I feel bad about that for getting loose and having Jaden collect in it, but I was just trying to run hard and get a lead on Jaden because he was quick. I mean, as you can see, the first part of the run, we pitted, he led it. I was right there with him, but we couldn't get around him. So I think we were playing whoever is in the lead that would be behind him. But I was just trying to get a big enough lead on him, and I got loose, and I went to correct it, let off the throttle, and when it caught, it snapped to the wall, and Jaden happened to get collected in it, and I didn't want him to get collected in it. So I was trying to keep it on the wall, so hopefully he went low.
Right. He tried to go low, but just unfortunate circumstances. You never want to collect another driver in your misfortune, right? I totally understand how that goes, but it's racing. It's part of it. Things happen. You just got to try to move forward from it, like you did. You and Jaden, after that happened, you guys were battling back up towards the front together, working through the traffic. Tell us about working through that traffic, Troy.
Well, it was a lot harder to work through that traffic than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be easy. We were going to breeze by them. But once everyone started wearing that high line, it was just hard to make passes. But it was a lot of fun battling back there with Jaden, trying to give each other room, racing each other clean. Because that's what I try to do is race everyone and give them space. The hardest thing was when you get a run out of that corner in that pack, I would have to check up, my momentum. Then Jaden was back there trying to get around me to move up front too, but without having to hit someone and get them loose or spin them, it was hard to pass.
Yes, exactly. Hard to pass, indeed. Okay, next week, Texas, that mile and a half. Still not at the moment sure which configuration we're going to, but Texas. Okay, today's Texas. Thank you, Brian, for the confirmation. So, Texas Motor Speedway, what's their thoughts going into Texas next week?
It's another big mile half track. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, this week was a lot better than last week, and it was a lot more fun having green flag runs, having tire wear, people fall off and try and pass them. That's what we probably expect at Texas is tire wear, and probably a lot of people will be running that bottom group in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 could be you can run anywhere you want.
Any final thoughts, shout-outs, anything else you'd like to add tonight, Troy, before we let you go celebrate this win?
Yeah, once again, I'd thank you and Brian for announcing and putting on this series and broadcasting. Wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have a broadcast on YouTube, Twitch, and I think it's Kick. I thank my wife and kids for letting me hop on here and race. And I like to thank 1-5 Studios and Chris Camary for designing my truck. And did you guys also notice we got another driver in the Northwest coming here racing Ron Hunter? So he's going to be hopefully pretty good in the series too.
Yeah, he showed some pretty excellent speed. He qualified outside pole, and he dropped back early on, though. I feel like he was trying to get a feel for his truck early on. Got caught up in the first wreck. He got 2 laps down. He recovered from it, but then I think he got swept away in the late race incident as well. But he showed tremendous speed. So hopeful newcomer to the BNR Truck Series, like he said. So can't wait to see what the rest of the season in stores for you and your teammates, Troy. So best of luck to you next week at Texas.
Thank you, gentlemen. I hope you guys have a good night.
You too, buddy. Awesome
You too.
job on the win.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, that will do it here tonight. From the BNR Racing Network, overall, great race. And I have to agree with him, a lot better than last week's shindig that we had, but a lot more excitement. Green flag runs, which is what everybody likes. So, couldn't be any more happier with that. Texas next week should be a great one. Mile and a halves always tend to put on a great show. Will, what was your overall thoughts of tonight's race?
I would say an outstanding race tonight. I would say we almost saw some green flag pit stop, but just couldn't quite get there to that window. But that's okay. It happens. Iowa produces some outstanding racing as always, and great field here tonight. Love to see it. So just an outstanding race, I thought, tonight, Brian, because of all the racing all throughout, just not at the front, but the middle, the back, everywhere. We saw some guys back there minding their own business, just trying to stay out of the trouble, but they had some other guys back there with them thinking thinking the same type of strategy, so they were back there racing as well. So there wasn't really not a battle anywhere. So the whole track was almost always covered. So that's just great to see every time you get to see it. But Texas next week, like we talked about, sure to basically be another banger of a race. Can't wait to see what's in store next week, Brian.
Yes, sir, indeed, Will. Once again, awesome to have you around. I enjoy every little bit that we commentate. So once again, thank you for your time and your patience here through a lot of the stuff and the ups and downs of the stream kicking off whenever it decides to do that. But Thursday, we'll be back Thursday with the BNR Fix Cup. I don't even know where they go.
I just had
That's easy. Let me just pull up the schedule.
the Milwaukee Mile.
Okay, so we'll be back Thursday from the Milwaukee Mile, and then you'll catch Chris and Will Saturday
And
when
Watkins Glen.
yes, when us guys run the setup side of things Saturday, we'll be heading to Watkins Glen. So from myself, Brian Hunt, to Will Roberts, we want to thank you guys ever so dearly coming out, cheering on your favorite drivers, just giving us a like. If you can help us out, share the stream, get people to come on in, tune in on the on the days that we run. And most and foremost, Will, we have to thank the drivers. Showing up every week, they kick ass every time they show up. Some ups, some downs, but I love this group. This group is great. It is spread out with different driving styles, different driving abilities, and just somewhat the ounce of respect from certain drivers can make a racing as fun as these drivers do every week. A learning curve for most. Some already got it. Some it's just taking a little bit of time. And that's why these drivers help each other to improve and get better. That's what I like from my drivers to do. Help one another and just share the love. That's it. I mean, we don't want nobody to feel left out. We don't want nobody to feel welcome. We take everybody, don't matter about your IR and stuff like that. So, but we want to thank you all for coming out tonight and just have